Hi, I'm Erin Cecilia Thomas, author of I Watched You from the Ocean Floor, available for purchase from modernartistpress.com. And today I'm playing Battle of the Books.
Erin will bring 12 of her favorite books, but only one can win.
Do we want to go with God Help the Child or Caste, the Origins of Our Discontents?
God help the child, because I could never choose anyone over Toni Morrison.
Uh-oh. Right off the bat. God Help the Child or Beloved?
Beloved, because I believe this is a perfect book, and it's the very first Toni Morrison book I ever read.
Beloved or James?
This is a really tough one, because in some ways these are very similar books. And I love James, but I have to stay with Toni.
Because it's your beloved?
Because it's my beloved, and it's the writing is poetic and perfect.
Beloved or The Idiot?
I'm gonna have to stick with Beloved. Although The Idiot is the kind of book where the voice is so funny and so relatable, you never ever want it to end. So it's a very different, gives you a very different feeling than Beloved did. These are very, very different books. But if I had to choose one to read for the rest of my life, it would be Beloved.
So you'd be an idiot not to read Beloved. Friday Black or Beloved?
I'm gonna have to stick with Beloved, even though Friday Black and Nana Kwame is probably my favorite living writer.
Oh.
One of my favorite living writers right now.
Sure you don't want to go with your living writer?
You know what? Just to switch it up, I'm gonna pick Friday Black.
Friday Black or Tight Little Vocal Cords?
These are also kind of as different as you can get. But Tight Little Vocal Cords, even though it's gorgeous experimental poetry, prose, written by a writer, Loie Rawding, who I've done some workshops with her, and she used to be based here in Nashville, and she's amazing. Gonna have to stick with Nana and Friday Black.
All Fours or Friday Black?
I'm gonna switch over to All Fours because I have never read, even though I've never read anything like either of these books, I read All Fours recently, and it's one that I still am thinking about almost daily. And it's just a wild, wild ride, and it's definitely not for everybody, but it was definitely for me.
All Fours or We, the Animals?
These are both books that I'm a pretty slow reader, but I sped through both of these books because I could not put either of them down. We the Animals has insane just movement and rhythm. This is a really tough one. I'm gonna go with We the Animals.
We the Animals or Harrow?
These are both. Joy Williams is a huge influence on my own writing recently. And this book is, again, unlike anything I've ever read. It's a crazy, crazy kind of dystopian universe, but I'm gonna stick with We the Animals.
We the Animals or The Roundhouse?
I'm gonna stick with We the Animals, although The Roundhouse was so heartbreaking, especially at the end. I remember finishing The Roundhouse and just like holding it to my chest and being like, oh my gosh, like it's one of those that really hits you. But so does We the Animals, so I'm gonna stick with that one.
The Good Lord Bird or We the Animals?
I'm gonna go over to The Good Lord Bird. I already knew a good amount of John Brown, the abolitionist story. So to read a fictional tale about him from the point of view of a young slave that he helped free, who didn't necessarily want to be freed at that time, it kind of just doesn't get any better. So I'm gonna go with The Good Lord Bird by James McBride.
All right, that's the winner.
Winner!